Hayato used to be one of the most mobile classes in MapleStory, and after their rework, that's still true thankfully. They got a whole truckload of dashing skills, now multiple up jumps, and their damage output on the bossing side of things is insanely good. High mobility, solid damage, and people arguing endlessly about if they're too good or not after their remaster. We're not here for that though. We're here to figure out this class's ins and outs. So let's do exactly that and explain all their shiny new skills. I want to start things off by highlighting Hayato's new Link skill. Moonlit Blade Learnings gives 7% extra critical damage if your character's crit rate is 100% or higher, and your crit damage is 50% or higher. This is extremely achievable by every class in the game, so once you reach those heights, that's massive. It's good for just about every bossing setup, and arguably also every grinding setup. If anything, it's worth getting a Hayato to level 210 just for their new Link skill. Now we can move on to Hayato's actual skills. Bato Jitsu Dash is the basic flash jump everybody gets nowadays, which can also up jump when pressing up and the jump key again while in the air. Shinsoku Mist Slash is the main attack you'll be using throughout everything you do, upgrading with your job ranks, and Shinsoku Grazing Cut is ridiculously good in a couple regards. First and foremost, hold in any direction, including diagonally if you wanted to, press the skill, and you dash in that direction. You get 5 charges, with 1 charge refreshing every second, and you can also use it while in the air. Secondly, you can cancel some of Hayato's attack animations with Grazing Cut by pressing it directly before using a skill. Not everything, but nearly every skill that starts with Shinsoku, including Mist Slash. In fact, in my testing, it seems like the only skill that can't be cancelled nor serves much of a purpose is Countercurrent Slash. 7-second cooldown, just slashes upwards. Not useful in any meaningful way really. While we're talking about second job skills, in addition to the Mist Slash upgrade, typical stat boost passives, and Mushin being an attack speed buff, there's also a new type of skill introduced here that exists opposite of Shinsoku's skills focus on mainly mobility and grinding, known as Bato. Crossing Draw itself gets replaced fairly quickly, and is just an attack that sticks you in place until its slash comes out. 20-second cooldown by the way. What's important about Bato skills though, is this new passive, Akatsuki Samurai. Every Bato skill used gives you this passive that not only lights up the moon of this gauge you now have, but also gives a ton of final damage and a bit of IED while it's active. The Bato skills can extend this passive up to a max duration of a full minute, but if you keep cycling them around, it'll practically always be up. Each Bato skill grants different amounts of time for Akatsuki Samurai, Crossing Draw being 5 seconds, and Third Job's Dark Moon Cut being 10 seconds. Third Job also gives more typical and/or expected passives, including a not-so-typical one that has a chance to heal you when you land a critical hit, and a couple more Shinsoku attacks. Storm Cloud Splitter is another up-jump-like skill, sending you flying upwards even while in the air, 3-second cooldown. And Crescent Moon Cut is a big slash that whips you in whichever direction you hold down before using it, though it can't be used to go upwards or downwards. Reactive Focus, when used, puts you in Shuchu state, which lasts for 0.6 seconds. If you're hit during that time, you counterattack and are also given a 2-second iframe, 30-second cooldown. Fourth Job's got all the usual suspects of Maple Warrior and Hero's Will, and passives. And then this passive that, if activated at its 20% chance, then reduces damage taken by half for 3 seconds, 15-second cooldown. After Image Slashes, yep, another slash that you can use in any direction. It also leaves behind a sword that you can teleport to if you click the skill again within the next 5 or 6 seconds. Do so, and you unleash a large AoE attack, 12-second cooldown. Full Moon's Rage is a strong Bato skill that also attacks all around where you use it, with a 1-minute cooldown, and it gives 15 seconds of Akatsuki Samurai time. Full Moon's Rage, alongside every other Bato skill you have, gets further enhanced with Noto, which boosts a single Bato skill's damage by about double what it normally would. Noto state lasts for 3 seconds, and goes away either when the duration ends, or when you use a Bato skill, 1-minute cooldown. Hyper skills real quick. Silent Arc is a big ol' slash to enemies all around you, 20-second cooldown. Akatsuki Blessing is just Sengoku's equivalent to Epic Adventure. buffing you and all other Sengoku classes in your party with 10% damage for 1 whole minute, 2-minute cooldown. Bushido is a buff that lasts for 30 seconds, and just gives a whole load of offensive and defensive stats, 2-minute cooldown. I'll make the hyper passives really simple. Shinsoku and Bato are your main attacking skills for everything, so you'll want Reinforce and Boss Rush for both of them. There are other passive options for IED and Spread in specific for Shinsoku skills, just aren't worth your time of day. Your last hyper passive point goes to Reactive Focus Cooldown Cutter, because that's Hayato's iframe, and it brings its cooldown from 30 seconds down to about 20 seconds. Yeah, an extra second of iframe time could be nice, but being able to have more iframe chances, increasing practically to 3 whole iframes every minute, up from its base of 2, yeah, I'd highly suggest that. Simple, easy, set in stone, and done. 5th job for Hayato is more of the same of what you've come to expect from prior job ranks. Wailing Heavens is a new Bato skill that does a ton of damage, makes you invincible while using it, and gives 40 seconds of Akatsuki Samurai, 2-minute cooldown. Shogetsu form is a buff that further enhances past the Akatsuki state, replacing it entirely with a way stronger buff that also enhances all your Bato skills, gives you super stance, and even providing a bonus Noto state to use for 20 seconds. You'll know it's still active by looking at this huge gauge and seeing that the cloud is now red. However, currently, if you die while Shogetsu form is active, you'll lose the buff entirely. I'm not sure if that's intended or just a bug, but keep that in mind and try to stay alive. 30-second duration, 2-minute cooldown. Crashing Tide is very simply just another big slash all around you, dealing a bunch of damage, 1-minute cooldown. Light Cutter is even more charge-up dashes that darken the screen every time they're used. These can be used in any direction your little heart desires, and they build up 1 charge every 15 seconds, up to 3 charges. You don't even have to hold down a direction to use it. You can just pop it in place if you didn't feel like flying around like a chaotic speed god. Shared Sengoku skills are just simple little buffs. Princess Sakano's Blessing gives a chunky final damage buff and can block up to 1 debilitating status condition. 20-second duration, 2-minute cooldown. Twilight Bloom is yet another damage boost, giving flat attack, crit damage, and reducing damage taken by 20%. 40-second duration, 2-minute cooldown. Shared warrior skills at least have a little meat to their bones. Impenetrable Skin gives you super stance and some stat resistance, and every time you're hit by enemies during its duration, it gives more damage per stack. Passively, some strength and flat health too. 15-second duration, 2-minute cooldown. Weapon Aura gives an IED and final damage buff, in addition to the new passive attack that sends a wave of damage flying out of you every 5 seconds, alongside your other direct attacks. No cooldown, but it instead builds up 1 charge every 2 minutes, up to 2 charges. Oh, also, since people in my comments ask for it sometimes, here's what you should be prioritizing maxing out skill-wise for Hayato's 5th job. Hayato's 6th job, while really nice, doesn't add anything new to their kit, at least mastery-wise and mostly 5th job enhancements-wise. Their masteries only get damage boosts, same with their 5th job skills. The one exception being Shogetsu form, which gets a longer duration, extra final damage, and extra IED. Now let's cover the origin skill, Shin Quick Draw. It gives Noto while active, as well as a final damage buff. After its first animation plays out when you initially cast the skill, you then get 3 slash attacks to use by pressing the skill again. Either the next press after that 3rd slash, or after 10 seconds have passed since initially casting the origin. The final attack animation plays out, dishing out 1 massive final blow. 6-minute cooldown. Lastly, for skills, Fleeting Breath is Hayato's Ascent, and it's just a pretty basic typical attack that makes you invincible while casting. 4-minute cooldown outside of boss rooms, and 3 total charges per every new boss you enter. Do you want to know the biggest life hack on how to make Hayato easy? Specifically, for the comfiest way to grind, set this macro up. Grazing Cut first, Mist Slash second. Then, go find any mostly horizontal map, and whoosh right through every spawn wave, up every 6 to 7 seconds or so. There's how you grind. In addition, and related to that macro, I want to again point out how important animation canceling is. With Grazing Cut, pretty much every skill that's blue and starts with Shinsoku can be animation cancelled into if you use Grazing Cut right before clicking it. There's no hyper-specific timing, just click Grazing Cut and then a Shinsoku skill. It charges up every second, so go wild with it. Squeezing damage where you can really boosts your overall DPS and DPM. There's also some slight animation cancels with your origin, Shin Quick Draw. After the initial animation's played out, cast any one of your various Bato skills, or even some Shinsoku skills like Crashing Tide and Silent Arc, and immediately follow those up with clicking your origin again, to cancel it with the big screen-wide slash up to 3 times. Again, the timing isn't all that tight, just the order matters. Long animation attack skill before the origins slash. You'll also want to familiarize yourself with your multiple dashes, and if applicable, each of their max charges. Finding a comfortable enough keyboard layout that you can remember where each of your dashes is located will make moving around grinding maps and bosses alike just that much easier. Done right, you'll barely ever touch the ground if you so felt like it. You don't need a floor, the air is good enough. For grinding, yeah, I already went over the macro, but let's say you fall, or you wanted to loot drops, or just go to reposition your Urda Fountain and or Soul Janus Dawn Orbs every minute or so. You still have massive attacks that'll close the gap until you get back to where you need to be, like Silent Arc, or Crashing Tide to slash all around you. It's worth remembering your other skills in situations like that. For bossing, first and foremost, Noto. Up every minute, use it for both main burst and off burst for a massively huge chunk of damage. Specifically for main burst though, you'll already have an extra Noto from popping Shogetsu form, so remember to whip out your second Noto after popping Shogetsu and a Bato skill first. Simplified. Shogetsu buff, any red colored attack, Noto, another red colored attack. One unavoidable truth you'll have to get at least pretty okay with now is countering attacks with reactive focus for Hayato's iframe. The window isn't too tight, being a little over a half second, but you'll definitely have to get comfortable learning the animations of boss attacks that would otherwise rock and sock you. Hayato's only other iframes are part of their burst or their ascent. As for sequences, they aren't too different from other classes. One for buffs, like attack speed, decent skills, and Akatsuki Blessing if you felt like it, one for your off burst up every minute, and one for your main burst up every 2 minutes, which would also apply to your origin burst up every 6 minutes. Theoretically, you could just have one button for burst, and it would go through the entire sequence and only use up the 1 minute buffs, but I personally like having dedicated buttons for 1 and 2 minute bursts. Anyways, for a full burst button, toss in Weapon Aura, Princess Sakano's Blessing, Twilight Bloom, Bushido, Shogetsu form, AB's Link skill if you have it, and also an Oz Ring if you had one too, preferably Ring of Restraint or Weapon Jump. If you have both, use Ring Swap to put Weapon Jump on your off burst button. The off burst button is just more or less AB Link, filled with either Decence or Weapon Booster, so not all that important to have, but it's an option if you wanted it. Does Hayato need a cooldown hat? From what I've lightly researched around since Hayato mains got to playing around with damage outputs post-rework, as far as I can tell, they're more or less the same. A cooldown hat is going to cost way more in the long run, and according to the Hayato Discord's findings, the difference between a 3-line stat hat and a -4 second hat is about 1 to 2%. So technically an increase, but that investment is ungodly to chase. Unless something new is discovered well after this video has come out, just settle for whichever you happen to get first. Don't fret over it too much. Link skills keep changing, either due to new classes coming out, reworks changing the links, or just Nexon saying, yeah, everyone is level 3 links now. So first, a grinding setup, since that's easier to get out of the way. The standard of Evan, Mercedes, and Aran paired with Lara Link. For a longer rune duration, bonus XP, more combo orb XP, and more normal enemy damage, respectively. The rest of those links can be whatever damage dealing ones you so felt like using, some layout like this. Now for the bossing preset, AB's Link, Terms and Conditions, is pretty much a non-negotiable for every class nowadays, so absolutely get that. As for the rest of the slots, Kana's new link is an incredibly good bossing link too, Arc and Mojwans similarly build up damage the longer you stay in combat. Explorer Mage and Thief links work well with each other, with mages giving a debuff and Thieves doing more damage against debuffed enemies. And the rest could either be stuffed with more damage if you felt confident, or things like Resistance Link and/or Ren's Link if you wanted more survivability. Play around with a setup that works for you, but some layout like this is pretty fine for me. Inner ability hasn't changed from what it was prior to Hayato's rework, thankfully. For boss rank, you'll want boss damage for the first line, and second and third lines you'll want abnormal status damage, flat attack, or optionally buff duration purely for a longer AB link and nothing else. For grinding, the gold standard of drop, meso, and normal monster damage. Hayato now has 7 total Trinodes to choose from, and of those 7, you'll only need 5 for the Hexa variant upgrades, but I'll argue you need 6 of those Trinodes. Though Grazing Cut doesn't get boosted at 6th job, you'll still be using it frequently, so more damage from it is always great to have. But anyways, boost everything except Reactive Focus. This can be done across 4 total Trinodes, and the priority and order of each doesn't really matter all that much, with I guess the exception of Mist Slash being your main attacking skill for everything, and Bato attacks being your main burst during bosses. So yeah, you can't go all that wrong with a Trinode layout. Just avoid Reactive Focus because that only boosts the counterattack's damage. Bursting on Hayato isn't all that complicated. Starting with the main burst up every 2 minutes, cast your 2-minute burst sequence, then Full Moon's Rage, pop Noto, combo that into Wailing Heavens, follow that up with Dark Moon Cut, Crashing Tide, and Silent Arc, and then expel all 3 of your Light Cutter charges. Afterwards, rotate back into spamming Mist Slash and your shorter cooldown skills whenever they're off cooldown. Not much to shorten down here, but here's what all that looks like typed out. Your Origin Burst looks about the same, with the exception of weaving in the slashes right after the longer animation skills. Specifically, use them after Full Moon's Rage, Wailing Heavens, and Crashing Tide. End off your Origin's final attack after all the Light Cutters have been used up. Your Off Burst, up every minute, is just anything with a minute or less of a cooldown. AB Link, Dark Moon Cut, Noto, Full Moon's Rage, and then Crescent Moon Cut, Silent Arc, After Image Slash, and/or all stacks of Light Cutter. Everything after the Bato attacks can be in any order you're comfortable with. That's basically it. I see old and new Hayato as 2 separate classes. I recognize the flaws of old Hayato, but at times I do miss some of its old design philosophy, like how their grinding used to just practically be stand in a map and click 2 buttons. Their map clear is still wicked good after the rework, but different, you get me? Thanks for watching, and thanks to the Hayato Discord for having information on Hayato's rework pretty much immediately. Subscribe if you wanted more videos from me, comment and/or like the video if you felt so inclined, but you knew all that already, right? Don't worry, Kana's coming up next guide-wise. Hopefully that won't be too far off of this guide's release, so look forward to that real soon. That's all.